what I got.
So the most common situation, and at this point, I'm going to kind of just open the floor for questions, because I kind of, now that I've kind of shown you who I am and how we do things, I think this would be a good time for you guys to just start popping in questions just like this and get out what's on your mind. So let's say, a good example, let's say that you have a customer calling and they have a 3-seater couch that's motorized, okay? Matt Fitch likes making money on 3-seater couches. He probably makes a lot more money than you guys do on 3-seater couches. And this is how I do it to make a lot of money on 3-seater couches. Because they're wanting one price for this couch, right? Single items are the hardest thing to not give a price over the phone. I never give a price over the phone for anything until the customer gives me the question about the price. If I get the understanding that they're not going to have me come out unless I give them a price over the phone, then I'll give it, but I'm having them ask me 3 times before I give them a price. So a couch is one of the easiest examples of how to not give a price. So I'll go, so Sarah, with couches, they're always different. It just depends on how big they are. We've had couches that are as big as 10 feet. We've had them as small as 5. The best thing, and it's really hard to tell in pictures to get an idea of what it looks like, just because it's always going to be different by the time that we get there. So, and I give a little bit of leniency for it. Like, I'll give a ballpark to still get the cheap customers off of the phone. And so I'll say, we've done couches, for $150. We've done couches for $350. Just depends on how big it is. And it kind of gives them an idea, and that's where I go in and close the sale once I get there and I see, okay, like it's this, that, $250, and then boom, sales closed. That's typically what I do in terms of that. In terms of things like, a thing like a mattress, you're not going to get around not being able to give them a more accurate idea of price, right? It's just one of those things where, the single items, it's a lot harder to not give a price. I know one of the things that I have my wife do, for example, whenever she picks up the phone, she doesn't know the pricing. So she'll be like, so actually our drivers have all of the rates and they know how to price things. My job is to just get you booked in the system, and then whenever they come out, they give you the price, and then that's how she's able to get around it. But because they know that they're speaking to the main guys that run the show, because we're all over our website, they know who they're talking to whenever they call us. So that's kind of how we steer away. As soon as they say they have more than one item, easiest thing to do is say that you charge by volume. You can't give a price until. What if we send pictures? Again, it's always hard to tell in pictures. We can't give an estimate through pictures just because it's always different by the time we show up. And you may want to add a few things by the time we get there, and we don't want to give you the wrong price once we get there. We want to give you the most competitive rate possible. You want to explain to the customer you're doing them a favor by not giving them the price over the phone. If you give the price over the phone, you will not win the job. Period. You just won't. Unless you just have the cheapest price in town, you can do that all day long. If you give the price over the phone, it's just not going to work. Okay. So for us, that's how we do.
How much of your time is wasted, quote unquote wasted? I mean, none of it's wasted if you're given an estimate. But what's your close rate then?
I would say out of all the jobs that I've done,
in-person quotes.
Out of all the in-person jobs I've done, I can't give you a number on how many I've estimated, but I've probably only walked away from 4. And the reason is, because here's the thing, again, and I hope you guys took notes in terms of the greeting. When you say your pricing starts at $100, you're getting the cheap people off the phone that would waste your time. So, whenever we go out to the job, they already know we're going to charge them. Right? It's obvious. The only time that I've walked away is whenever I said, well, and I had forgotten to say starting at $100 over the phone. I got there and he goes, $300. I can't do that. I was thinking like $75. Right? And it's like, dude, like, obviously we got a business going on. You think how are we supposed to do so? Doing the $100 is what's going to give you a close rate. Because again, you're not going to win every lead over the phone. Some people just don't understand our industry. The city picks it up for free. They may think that they're calling the city for all they know. So that helps out with close rate.
Do you pay for ads?
No. I'm experimenting with it this month, but it's not something that I've done to this point.
Hey, I have a question. So your full load price is $675, but you have a box truck, I think, right? How do you deal with people who say have like a 10-foot trailer and they say that their full load is like $400? How do you get that in the customer's mind that a full load is different depending on what size trailer you have?
I never talk about the size of my truck. The number one thing that people get wrong starting in this business is thinking that their truck size matters. Size don't matter in this, okay? So whenever I answer the phone, all I say is it depends on how much stuff you have. Our pricing starts at $100 and it goes up from there. What works best for you? I moved away from the price, but I've given them enough information to know we're not going to come and do it for free. A lot of guys are like trying to explain cubic yards over the phone.
That's tough.
And, like, guys, our customers barely know what our industry is all about. It's like if I was a landscaper, well, this guy has a zero turn, blah blah blah, and I actually use a John Deere zero turn. They just need the grass cut. That's all they need. So a lot of guys think, but I think it's a thing of like, because junk removal owners talk about these integrated things so much, you start spilling more information to customers than you really should. At the end of the day, they just want their junk picked up conveniently. So if you give them an idea on price, I never talk about the size. And here's the thing, if we pull up to, in this, at the bottom left of this rate sheet, it says this: all estimates are presented and agreed upon prior to starting the job. Final price does not change from original estimate unless items are added to the job or changes are made. This rate sheet is used as a guide for pricing and estimate and is not intended for customer use. So this gives an idea of price.